He shoots. He scores.
He shoots, whoever he is.
And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah. Good morning. Morning, Caleb. Hope you're alive still. This is Why Am I Still Up? And Rex has no idea. Don't know, Caleb. You know Caleb? He's got a wrench.
I don't know, Caleb.
I don't know, Caleb. But we're glad you're here, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Everybody on my channel's got a wrench.
You must be the one here that's sitting there. Glad you're here. We're here to look at some great funny books, folks.
Glenn's got a wrench and
great sequential art.
And if Randy ever comes over and makes a comment, I'll give him a wrench.
Well, I'll have to go over there and make a comment just to collect
my tool.
Spanner.
That's right. Yeah, a man and his tools are very important. At least over here in America. I can't speak for anywhere else in the. Yeah. Well, Randy, don't twist that. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice today. It's Friday. It's Comics by Night.
I'm not going to touch it, but you know what Doug says.
Well, good. I don't want you to touch it.
It means you're a catcher, not a pitcher.
That's right.
He needs some new jokes. I'll give him a few.
I got to get some clips done. All I've got is this bump here. This is the latest bump for my show.
Hey, kids, you want to see some great comics? It's Comic Book Show and Tell twice a week. Comics by Night every Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern. And the Sunday Funnies every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Indie Comics Network YouTube channel. Void where prohibited. Not available with any other offers. Side effects may include loss of boredom and a sudden urge to read more comics. Check with your doctor if a sudden rash appears.
I got that. So I got this too.
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
That's right. And sooner or later, I'll revise this.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Yep. Come on in, folks. It's Comics by Night.
Randy, before we get started, I've mentioned Scott McCloud, and we looked at his Destroy. I didn't know this Sunday, with Scott McCloud with script consultation from Kurt Bissett. Developed Zot in 1984, published by Eclipse Comics. The series featured a teenage hero from an alternate Earth, blending a variety of artistic influences, including C.C. Beck, Dr. Seuss, Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon, and early Japanese manga, and the Adventures of Tintin. It's a pretty good read. I've read a bunch of those.
I think some of those references are a bit of a stretch, but C.C. Beck and early manga, I can definitely see. In there. But yeah, it's a nice series. It's a nice series. Understanding Comics, I still recommend to everybody if they want to get a grasp of what sequential art is all about. His other two books after that, though, use with a grain of salt.
Okay.
But Understanding Comics is a great work. I think it's pretty iconic.
I think the most... I don't know. I come down with, I think the artists that are really the most inventive, now I may be totally just wrong about this, are because that's a broad statement, are self-taught in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, they don't come out of the academia. And I think a little bit of formal training helps, but if you really want to get creative, and most people that are self-taught do, use their imagination. They actually
I've seen a lot of
imagination, whereas a lot of these commercial artists don't, I don't think.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of folks, especially younger kids, that have gone through college courses on sequential art doing comics that think that they know everything, and they know absolutely nothing.
Didn't we all, though, when we were in our 20s?
Well, yeah, that's very true, too. But, you sit there and you listen to them spout, pretty much parrot what they were instructed from their teacher. And it's like, well, that Crumb guy was a real weirdo, and so did this and that. And, it's like, well, how do you feel about Vaughn Baudet? Who? It's like,
forget all that. Just go on Fund My Comic and buy some Arrow comics and some Hatch and Devil Flyer, and can't get Shadow Kingdom anymore. Too late with the Atlantean coming soon.
Oh, it's coming. We'll be offering Shadow Kingdom again here in another form.
Yeah.
Eventually. Folks, thanks for joining us today. This is Comics by Night. I am your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find the majority of my work over at arrowcomics.store, which I normally have written here, but I was too lazy to put it in this morning. And over at arrowcomics.store, which is supposed to be revised this weekend, you can pick up everything that's available from me. And there's a wide variety of works that you can get a hold of: Herobot Zero, Calico of Shard, Paragon, Alice in Chains, The Fool, and there'll be a lot more over there as well. I'm editor-in-chief of Arrow Comics, which means absolutely nothing. We're a creator-owned company. Everybody owns their own IPs and controls their own IPs, and we're just together in order to promote everybody at once. We're really glad that you're here. We see that our numbers are climbing as we go into the program. So, and again, we're here to look at some great sequential artwork. And joining me for this show is Mr. Glenn Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, artist, and publisher. I'm in England. I've written 12 books so far about sport and travel and science fiction, amongst other things. And if you go to Amazon or New Haven Publishing, you can pick up my book about my visits to see Jack Kirby in the late 80s and early 90s. Also on Amazon, you can get Comics Unlimited, which is my magazine about comics, which comes out every now and again. It used to be bi-monthly, but we've slipped a little, but we try. And if you go to Fund My Comic, you'll be able to pick up the annotated book about my character Hatch. And this book features lots of published and unpublished work, and you can see the history of the character. Excuse me, the history of the character throughout the ages, as he's now nearly 40 years old. So check that out and Fund My Comic.
His origin story.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Sort of. Okay.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
I don't mean his origin, I mean the way he came about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Comics Unlimited, now printed whenever.
Do you ever do?
Whenever, yes. Yeah. Number 15 is out now. The latest
whenever.
Whenever we get around to doing it.
Trademark that, Randy. Whenever.
Yeah. Whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun finding it.
Yeah. And no
available on Amazon.
I'm Rex Christian. You can find me over on Twitter, on Instagram. We're going to look at Two-Fisted Tales today. Can't wait to delve into this. So who's going to be the artist on these? Well, tune in and find out.
There's a double zoom for you.
In 3D. Double
3D.
Zoom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You were saying our numbers are climbing, and I was thinking of that. I'm not a big Airplane fan, the movie, but whatever he says, and Roger's growing larger and rubs his tummy. Or whatever the guy's name is. Yeah.
Leon's growing larger. Yes.
Yeah, Leon. That's what came to mind when you said our numbers are climbing. I don't know why.
Levi's in the house. Good morning. Ready for my weekly dose of getting Two-Fisted Tales. Okay. Thank you.
Levi's got a question.
Hey, Levi. Levi says, Randy, is there any news on the Collected Aniverse book? I'm looking forward to that one. Thank you, Levi. I'm glad you're looking forward to that. It's going to be a couple months yet. I've still got a lot of scanning to do, but before I do that, I have a couple of bits of writing that I have to get done. And Sue is working on a cover.
I thought you were ashamed of that early work.
I am, but I'm going to print it anyway.
Good.
And it's going to collect it and print it. There's only a few pages in number one that, maybe half of the book that I'm not very happy with, but everybody
Well,
still
you can go
wants
back and look
autographed.
You can go look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that was just hit 40 years old, and it looks like a glorified underground comic. There's not much to that at all. It's good stuff. It's just, it's not high art by any means.
Yep. Yeah, we need to take a look at that too. I've got the compendium of the first underground run. So good stuff. Two-Fisted Tales, folks. We're starting back up at issue number 40. Only two more issues of the series to go. We'll get those done today with this great George Evans cover with the John Severin portraits here on the side. Great adventure comic from EC from back in 1954. I believe this is January of 54 or 55. Let's check. 53, it says. 55, sorry. January of 55. EC Comics. We're looking at the Russ Cockrum reprint volumes of this beautiful hardcover books, shot off of the originals and printed in black and white.
January 55.
Yep. The covers.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's when you were born.
Yeah.
The covers were colored by the great Marie Severin, who colored them originally. And John Severin's a major contributor here to this series. In fact, he's got the opening story here.
Wow.
D&B and Foo. Look at that. How great. Next to it's an ad for Panic and Mad, which is their humor magazine. Oh, Mad. It's an ad for Panic, the best imitation of Mad. There we are. Some great faces, great shadow work here on this.
Yeah, John Severin must be one of the best war artists, mustn't he?
War and Westerns, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep. Probably best known for his decades worth of work, decades and decades of work on Cracked magazine.
Right. While he was doing Sergeant Fury as well.
Yeah. Well, commercial artists, you go where the gig is, right?
Of course.
You do whatever.
Cracked magazine, wasn't that in the 80s? 70s
oh, no.
And 80s?
Cracked was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Yeah, it ran for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. Probably the best, the biggest of all of the Mad imitators, Mad magazine imitators.
Wow. So again, we're back to
going on in these pages.
Yeah. Go ahead, Glenn.
Are we back to the Harvey Kurtzman layouts again and lettering supplied to the artists and all that kind of situation?
Oh. Yep.
Wow.
Levi says, I was one of the ones introduced to Severin in Cracked. Yeah. Yep. Did all sorts of parody work. All sorts of cartoon work for Cracked. Just going to keep flipping through here. Roar. I imagine Severin put in the sound effects here.
Yeah.
A little bit of
this is quite topical for the time, isn't it? Because this was 7 or 8 years before the US got involved in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So it's quite topical at the time.
Yep. Right during the Korean War days, I believe. Or the Korean conflict, as they call it.
All right. I thought it was in Vietnam. But anyway.
We ran through Korea first. Vietnam was Kennedy, right? John?
Yeah. Well,
Kennedy, Johnson, and Nixon.
Yeah. Look at that last panel there on the first page. It's filthy French magic destroying. It says germ warfare, smash it. The last thing you want to do is smash it, isn't it? If it's germ warfare.
Smash it all. Yeah. Filthy French magic. Destroy. Anyway. Yep.
Wow.
It's looking at that great face there. So line work, ink work, just beautiful stuff. No zip screens, no dual
Don't you
shade
think
board.
he was probably? Don't you think he was probably taking from like Life magazine and other personas, other people, actual people's faces for some of these likenesses?
Oh yeah. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Typical pinup girl there. After a punishing artillery bombardment, the it's Viets, yeah. Throw a human sea charge at Gabrielle after a bloody resistance. She is torn down. Does this take place in Vietnam? Is that what this says?
That's where the NBN Poo was.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Airstrips, a graveyard for wrecked Dakota transports. This war-blighted Indochina land is as much a part of France as the bloodied earth of Verdun itself. Okay.
You know, the French were there first, weren't they? They got kicked out
Yeah.
at the NBN Poo, and then I think they're American advisors there, so-called. And then the first American soldier to be killed in Vietnam, I think, was in 1962.
Okay.
And he was an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, weapons training sort of stuff. And then Johnson sent the troops in just after Kennedy was killed, about a month later, a couple of months later, in 1964.
Okay.
Kennedy was going to pull every United States serviceman advisor out of Vietnam by 1965.
Instead, we sent troops in 1964.
After he died, yeah.
Yeah.
Johnson reversed his national security memorandum. It was, I think, Kennedy's was 273 pull out, and his was 274 go in, something like that.
Wow.
But anyway, so this is 10 years before that. So this is the French.
Yep, French.
They were soldiers with Mel Gibson. Gives you a brief, shows the French early on in there and gives you a brief.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. Look at that guy just getting blown away.
The bawoomp.
Well, catching it in the gut there on the
I think
second page.
Cutting in half, that wasn't it?
Oh, here, yeah.
In that range.
Vive la France. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. No blam, blam, blams here, surprisingly.
Yeah, he's not going to survive that.
In the days I watched my blood spreading over the pictures. Isabel, Claudine, even as the red tide is spreading over Indochina.
You think work like this maybe stepped on some people's toes as well early on?
I do,
it's
yeah.
like, ooh, that's such realism. Kids don't need to see this.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier about it being very topical.
Yeah.
You know, so it could be.
Well, they weren't above making statements. Mm-hmm. If you saw and we'll look at the horror magazines or the horror comics from this same time. They were not meant for kids, that's for sure.
And yet they're singing a song.
It was the anniversary of.
Go ahead, Rex.
Of him going in front of Congress and, you know, kind of defending EC's position on freedom of speech and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very strange time, mid-50s in America, with the all this, you know, the code coming in and Elvis arrived and upset everybody and all that kind of thing. Very interesting time.
Right.
That evil, a demonic rock and roll.
Yeah.
Taking charge. Yeah. Little zip screen here around the photographs. Little little bit of a zip screen here to drop, add some gray tone in here. It's all everything else is all beautiful line work though.
This was pre-Gunsmoke, but the guy right there where your finger is on the second where they're singing, like Glenn was saying, reminds me of Matt Dillon. Here. You know, with that hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Gunsmoke.
Cowboy, doesn't it? Yeah.
But I know that's pre, you know, this came out before.
It's kind of Australian military though, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's probably that Australian guy in the first panel on the first page. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it still reminds me of Matt Dillon, you know, something like that. His hat.
Yeah, like a cowboy hat.
James Arness.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it's, you know, depicted. It doesn't look flattened like in the first panel on the first page there. I get a kind of a Dr. Zhivago feel, and this is pre-Zhivago with that.
Yeah, by about 15 years.
Kind of froze there. That fifth panel there with the sort of Russian hat or whatever that is he's wearing. Yeah, right there.
Omar Sharif right there.
Yeah.
Omar Sharif. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny to look back at, you know, some of the stuff like that with through a lens and what was popular culture and just see parallels that weren't even meant to be there, but still, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, brings up that.
I guess John Severin probably drew war comics up to about the time he died, you know, in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Flaming Coffins, folks. Artwork here by the great George Evans.
What a great title.
Yeah.
What's he doing on the wing? Was he putting the fire out?
Looks like he's shooting at the biplane behind him.
He's holding on and firing back at him.
Yeah.
That's killer, man. That's
seat's
awesome.
on fire.
Yeah. I had to see that parachute. That's World War I, right?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
This figure here is a little cartoonish for Evans.
Know, it's awesome.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, this is
How's your World War II book coming along, Glenn?
It's okay. I've done about 28 pages now. It's okay. I've not touched it for a couple of weeks. We were talking about this the other day. Awesome. I've had a bit of a block with it, really, but it's coming on. I'm not saying much about it. I want to start showing people when I'm doing it, but I just don't want to show anybody anything, because I think there's some quite unique things in it. I know everybody claims that, but I think you'll agree when you see it. But I'm not saying anything about it really. But it's coming on. It will appear.
Brave words for a one-eyed fat man.
Well, you know, what? Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
So that's why.
This is all beautiful line work here. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous work. I love Evans.
I love it. Yeah. I don't care what he puts in the 3 bottom panels. Just that one's worth the price of admission. Awesome.
Yeah. It's almost better than the cover. So much tension. Just a lot going on. But he loved drawing his biplanes. Evans did.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Well, you know, they're making more and more movies about World War I, and that's one war. If I could opt out of one war, it would have to be World War I. That was just a meat grinder, and I would not want to be in World War I.
Do you want to hear?
But you know, Fly Boys is one movie that came out. You've probably seen it.
They're all pretty much meat grinders, so all those wars.
Oh, definitely.
Just got done watching Masters of the Air on Prime, not Prime, Apple, not too long ago. One of the two. It's either Apple or Prime. Pretty sure it's Apple. And that was World War II, English invasion of Europe, with the Americans going over and flying missions with B-52s. That was crazy.
Have you ever seen Come and See? The Russian
Come
film?
and See? No.
You've got to watch that. It's on YouTube. It's called Come and See. It's subtitled. Okay. It's a Russian film. It's made in 1985. And I think, and a lot of others think, but I think it's probably the greatest war film ever made. You won't believe it. It's not all explosions and shooting, and it's just an incredible film. Come and See, 1985. Check it out.
I'll have to write that down. I'm always looking for good films to watch.
It's either Come and See or Look and See. I'm not sure.
All right.
It's a Russian film. It's about the Germans invading Russia after Barbarossa. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a film about the Red Baron or somebody like that with these aeroplanes. I don't know how they go on with that, because I can't imagine these things fly anymore, do they? 100 years old.
There's still some of them around, but now that we've got all of this special effects technology, I'm shocked that somebody hasn't done one.
Yeah.
You know?
There's also another good film.
Go ahead.
Another good film. I think it's called Zizou. That's a good film, good war film about some Norwegian guy in the Second World War. I think it's Zizou. Something I can't remember the name, but you'll find it.
Rad Arts and Comics. Thanks for stopping by today. This is WW. World War I had 20 million deaths. World War II had 80 million deaths, and World War II was much worse. Yeah. The difference was in civilian deaths.
Yeah.
We were doing a lot more carpet bombing. Military deaths were actually about the same, in both wars. Yeah. Again, it's a little zip screen here just to drop it off, but other than that, it's line work. Just beautiful, beautiful ink work here.
He's much better at drawing planes than he is figures, isn't he?
Yeah.
Figures are very cartoony. They're very good, but it's not as good as his planes.
And again, he might be working off of them Kurtzman layouts too on this.
That's true.
So he's got that real heavy influence, because Kurtzman's doing very, very cartoony layouts for this.
He was really in control, wasn't he, Kurtzman, with this stuff? You know, really the man.
Nothing wrong with cartoons.
Nothing wrong with what, Rex?
Cartoons.
No, nothing at all.
Cartooning.
From what I understand of Kurtzman during this time, he was quite the control freak. Everything had to look right. Everything had to be right.
I love the weapons, especially John Severin. He always gets the weapons right, and I think that's important. So I can see why Kurtzman would want it correct. So these planes have got to be right, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and the weapons have to be right as well. You know, the helmets and the gear and everything. It's got to be right.
Right. Correct.
I think we mentioned it a long time ago, a few weeks ago, that when Kirby was drawing Shield or Howling Commandos, the machine guns on Howling Commandos were Thompsons, but they weren't quite well rendered. And when he drew Shield, everybody had a different weapon because he couldn't be bothered drawing the same weapon again. And I think that when you're doing stuff like this, which is a really detailed observation of the equipment, you've got to get it right.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's right to me. I don't know, but it looks like it's right.
So Russell should explode.
Jumping out. Wow.
Yeah, that flying body.
Okay.
I'm caught. He's got it. She'll explode. Get you out, Russell, you fool. Yeah. Got him out. It's all burned up here.
Rad Art and Comics says World War One had 20 million deaths and World War II had 80 million deaths. World War II was worse. The diff was in the civilian deaths. Military deaths were actually about the same in both wars.
Yeah. Well, I guess it can be arranged. He says, please don't do it, sir. I mean, well, after the stuff these guys just spouted, medals don't look so important. I wouldn't transfer now for the crown of England. That is, if you'll have me. Since I guess that can be arranged. And then I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of decorations were to turn up right in the old 147th truck drivers. That's what it says. Two-fisted talk. Very early letters page here. Especially for comics. EC fans.
Jack Davis.
Jack Davis, yep. We're proudest of our science fiction magazines. Look for weird fantasy. Great, great stuff. It's Jack Davis doing Native Americans, the last of the Mohicans.
Yeah. Look at the big hands he does, and that Indian at the top. And look at that line around that guy's elbow. The white guy's arm. The thickness of that line is amazing.
Where are you here?
At the top. Yeah.
That is real thick.
It's fantastic. And that guy's hair, I don't know what you call them. I'll call them what I call them. The Red Indian's hair. It's fantastic. Really well rendered. Everything changes every week, so I just call it what I call it.
We know what you mean.
Such detail in isn't it?
Yeah,
it's fantastic. And trees and everything, look amazing.
It's very, very deceptive work. This is just brush work up here.
Yeah,
a lot of hard brush dabs, even right here for the trees. But it looks great. Beautiful feathering work here for the grass. And again, Davis, thick lines here, thin lines here in order to drop it back.
Yeah.
Point out where you're supposed to be looking.
Again, it's very wordy, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
And it shows you how good these artists were to get all this information in such tight areas.
Mm-hmm.
Because who am I? But I think it's overworded.
Wordy.
Overworded.
Yep.
Yeah.
Francis Native American. Well, yeah, there's a lot of 50s all the way through the 70s. They were real wordy. Good use of shadow and blacks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
That's why we love looking at this stuff, Red.
If you're going to put that much dialogue and balloons in there, I mean, it's filling the panels. Write a novel.
Well, they have a lot of story to cover and a lot to say in such a short space. That's what's really cool about these EC stories. There's 4 complete stories, beginning, middle, and end. And any of them, like those old Spirit sections, any of them would have been an entire issue of an Image comic, you know, in the 90s and 2000s, with all of the plot and the detail and just beginning, middle, and end of the story. Just some great stuff. And even then, Image would always end up most of the time being continued. No continued stories, just there's a few continuing characters here and there just to try to keep readership up, but most of the time it's a very direct adventure story from different periods in time, these Two-Fisted Tales. Look at all that text.
Mm.
There's a shoe, moccasin. Just a lot. It looks like they're telling the Last of the Mohican story here.
Yeah. Oh dear.
That's a real lot of ground to cover in 7 pages.
Yeah.
So Classics Illustrated did an entire comic off of that novel. That's another comic line that nobody seems to talk about much anymore. There's some great stuff by some great artists back then doing those classic illustrated. Some crappy stuff too, but good stuff as well. It's great, Jack Davis.
I think he seems to have, for me, gone a bit too cartoony on this. I know he's a cartoonist, known for that, but we saw some other work where it wasn't as cartoony a while back, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he's getting a little farther along in his style work here, you know.
I mean, it's 55. Fantastic work, you know. Yeah. It's brilliant work.
You know, and who would have guessed this Davis especially would become such a commercial artist, doing so much caricature and movie poster work. And you know, it's really cool to see his start here in comics.
It's fabulous, isn't it?
Omer Glitch says this is some great work. Yes, it is, Omer. There's still a lot more to come here too. We have another issue and another story to go. He's gonna scalp the girl, Brad says.
Has he killed her at the last panel? His knife's going
Just
down.
Then a piercing cry was heard above them, and Uncas appeared, leaping from a fearful height. Maguas aid sheathed his own knife in the bosom of Cora. Yeah, he killed her.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so you'd never see a story like this today.
No.
Even in the independent market, because it's so wordy and so just compact. It's real tight storytelling. Next sharpshooter. Go ahead.
The guy on the last panel of that previous story there looks like he's out of Erie. Looks like Frankenstein, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Type of person, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course, Davis did a lot of the horror comics too.
Yeah.
Here for Tales of the Crypt, Haunt of Fear, and Vault of Terror.
Look at that.
When you say a little bit of cartoony on Last of the Mohicans, it's kind of like, yeah, I can see a little like Michael Plug that would come along later.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Sharpshooter page where they're just hanging out on the lawn, waiting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You don't need to tell me that. Whack. Right in the head. Look at that. This is all line work here.
Yeah.
It's
just a bit blurred, bit blurred at the moment, but I can roughly make it out.
Is that better?
It is a bit better, yeah.
No, that didn't help at all.
It helped this. No, it's gone back.
Make it refocus here.
Oh, God.
It's okay. It's gone back to the same, but it's all right. Just carry on.
Right. Luckily, it's a pretty large book. Little foreshortened arm here just to make sure it fits into the panel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a kid. Right.
Yeah, on that left-hand page, the second panel, that's a really nice shadow on this guy's hat, isn't it, on his face? Yeah, that's really great. Looks like he's got a mask on.
Yeah, and the gray tone there, it's Zipatone here. Zipatone screens. Yeah. Just to give it that gray. Line work back here. Just to drop it back. Cross hatching work here. Could see that coming out of a movie still.
Yeah.
As reference. Yeah. Still great work. Yep, shot a deer. Same here. Nice. Looks natural.
Yeah. Just great. Like I said before, great attention
all the
to
text
detail
above
on the
Go ahead,
all
Rex.
the text in the gutter almost.
Yep, up above. And that looks intentional too, because there's the panel border right there, and the lettering goes beyond it. So, whoever the letterer was, he went through and put the little cloud type panel border on there as well. If you're not aware and you're just watching the program for the first time, the way that these stories were drawn is they were written up and sent to the letterer. The letterer took the page and lettered the page first, and then they sent it to the artist, who finished the artwork and sent it back. They're trying to keep as few stages in the mail as possible.
I wonder what the page rate was in these days.
I couldn't tell you for sure, but I understand that Gaines paid better than your average comic company. Yeah. I'm not sure if he paid the best rates, but I assume that he did. Yeah.
I think it's around Marvel were paying, or Timely as it was then, we're paying around $25 or $30 a page, I think. I'm not sure. So if he's paying more than that, it's going to be quite a good gig, I would have thought. What would $40? What would $25 be now? 70 years on, it'd be a couple of 300.
Yeah, probably pretty close. I was going to say about at least 250.
Not bad though, is it, for them?
Yeah.
If you're doing 2 pages a day, that's $2.5 a week. Not bad, is it?
No. Livable. You had a constant, steady gig there, but that's you know, that's why these guys were always workhorses. 20, 40 pages a month.
Yeah.
page for story. It's got him. There's 3 pages there. Oh yeah, that's a motif. Keeps going. That's probably Kurtzman doing those layouts like that.
Yeah.
Brad Art and Comics says, I hear Marvel's really bad about no raises. They pay same they did in the 80s, 150 per page. Image had a lot of money to start. They were paying people like Stephen Platt up to $2,000 per page.
Image had a lot of money to start
The
that
good
they
old
were paying.
days.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the thing with Image is set up different from Marvel in that Image has got individual little companies that are kind of like axles to their own works. You see Skybound in there, and Eric, all the big Image founders had their own like little corners or a nexus of different books that they did. And the way Image is set up is Image, every book that Image prints, Image really doesn't lose money because they keep track of all of their expenses, the printing costs and all of that, not the production costs, but the printing costs, the marketing costs. And they pass that back to the whoever's in charge of the hub. They have to pay that back to Image plus a percentage in order to keep Image rolling, or a flat fee in order to cover their office expenses. So Image never loses money when they print a book. It's everybody else, the people that are responsible for putting the book together, that take on that burden of profit. And then whatever profit comes out, there's a percentage split on that, depending upon everybody's contract. And the people producing the book are responsible for paying the artists and the writers. So like Kirkman with Skybound, when he was producing Walking Dead, he was paying the artist himself, not Image. And then Image would pay him back in profits after their overhead was covered. So there are a lot of books out there that Image produces that don't make money or that lose money, but Image doesn't lose money. That's it for that issue. On to 41. The great Jack Davis cover. Look at that. It's kind of a different art style, different inking style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little Jimmy Stewart working there, it looks like.
The guy with a sword.
Oh, yeah, that looks like Jimmy Stewart.
If you ask me, this Mau Mau trouble is greatly overrated. This guy's coming in with a machete.
Wow.
See how overrated.
So would you call that a gray tone cover? Partial gray tone cover?
Monotone cover, maybe, yeah, partially.
Okay. What's the
real easy on the easy on Marie. It's just one slab of color with a little bit of the reflection here cut out. And then this part here is in color. Even over here on the side, they're in black and white. The figures here are in black and white with a little band of red back behind them.
That shading on the clothes looks like a bit like Gene Colan, doesn't it?
It does. Yep. Almost looks like pencil work. It's actually very
that.
Thin line work.
Yeah. I thought it was
probably
when I
done.
first saw it.
Yeah, probably done with a pen here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different style for Jack Davis.
Now, in our earlier broadcast, you said they had more time to complete these stories. Is that correct?
Oh no, they turned them around real fast. They were on deadline if they wanted to get paid. But I would imagine they didn't schedule a story until everything was in house.
Oh, that's what you were saying. It was in house. Okay.
Yeah. So if they were running late, because like there's a notorious story about a Kriegstein story that he took the lettered art boards and split them all up, redrew a couple of the panel borders and took a 6-page story and turned it into an 8-page story, or a 7-page story and turned it into an 8-page story, because he thought it needed more space to breathe. And it really threw him into a tizzy. But once they saw the work, they had to print it. It was just that good. So they ended up dropping a house ad or a letters page or something in order to put it in an issue. In memoriam, this is the last issue of Two-Fisted Tales. We're out of here. This will be the last issue of Two-Fisted Tales. It's with sincere regret that we make this announcement. But as many of you have probably noticed, our efforts to sustain what we tell, or what we felt was a quality magazine, have floundered and finally collapsed under the pressure of having to complete it, to compete with the more stimulating type of comic book. The passing of Two-Fisted Tales is the passing of an era for us at EC. We just hope that you, our fans, received as much pleasure reading Two-Fisted Tales as we received producing it over the past 3 years. Not that doing Two-Fisted Tales has been without headaches. We have had our share. However, we cannot help but look back with nostalgia upon our experiences in connection with Two-Fisted Tales, our sessions at the great New York Public Library, a treasure house of rare old history books, where we relived the wars of the past. We have sprung the catapults with the army of Caesar, wielded the Gaive and the billhook in Agincourt, touched fuse to Harbus with Cortez, and primed and loaded the flintlock with General George Washington at Pell's Point. We charged into the Valley of Death with the Light Brigade. We watched the Texicans massacred by the Mexicans at the Alamo, saw the first shot lobbed from a mortar into Fort Sumter, followed Teddy Roosevelt, his Rough Riders, and the Gailing guns up San Juan Hill, and flew in Baron von Richthofen's blood red Volker over the valley of the Somme. Then, of course, there were the unforgettable trips to the Army, Navy, and Air Force, with whose cooperation we rode a Sherman tank, went under the water in a submarine, and flew inside a SA-16 rescue plane, to mention a few of our experiences. We could fill a book with the names of the people who helped us with Two-Fisted Tales: soldiers, sailors, airmen, heroes from the Korean War, jet aces, veterans, to the hundreds of people in the armed forces, in the airplane plants, in the libraries and collections, who were all so helpful to us. We owe great debt of gratitude. To the hundreds of thousands of readers who bought and read our magazine, we also owe a debt of gratitude. Perhaps in the future, Two-Fisted Tales or a Two-Fisted Tales type magazine will be revived. We profoundly hope so. Until such time, we relax the arms, unclench the fingers of our Two-Fisted Tales, and we stretch the open hands towards new and, we hope, more successful fields of endeavor. Harvey Kurtzman, editor.
Well,
we're out of here, folks. Code of Honor, John Severin.
I wonder, you were saying the other week that this artwork was sold in complete stories. Is that right?
That's how it was broken down. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Gaines had stashed it all in a vault for decades. They broke it up in the 80s, I think 80s or 90s, shortly after this was printed. They would break it down title by title. This is 1980, so it was in the 80s.
Right.
And they would auction it off one story at a time. You had to buy the entire story. They weren't going to page it out. They were going to leave that for the individual buyer to do.
I wonder if the artists and writers got any of that.
I have no idea.
Wow.
And you hardly ever see any of this artwork up for sale. So
no. Be nice to have a little 7-pager on your wall, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's what I'd do with it. You'd frame it and put it on display in a hallway. Yeah.
It's just fabulous stuff. It's just amazing. And so much better in black and white, I think.
Yeah. That's why I love these books. These hardbacks are just amazing. Rad says Image had a lot of money to start. They were paying people like Stephen Platt up to $2,000 a page. So that was up to the individual creators, whoever was putting the book together. Image is the group publishing company with each individual owner. Yeah, it's their own company. Yep. That's what I said. More 9-panel grids here. Lots of words, lots of conversation.
Whoever the letterer was, he was certainly busy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What is it they do now? Is it 20 words a balloon? Try and keep it 20 words. Is it at maximum?
Really? Is that the
That's
rule?
what I've heard. Yeah.
Oh.
If you look at Stan Lee stuff in the 60s, it's sort of wordy in a way, but not like this.
Well, Stan was out. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say this is too much for me.
Yeah.
I'd read it, but I think there's too many words.
Well, it's not meant for kids. It's meant to be a read, meant to be literature, pretty much.
That's true.
But Stan, outside of being bombastic, Stan scripted the majority of those stories after work.
Yes.
On a legal pad. So I'm sure it was like, hey, Biff, run over here. That's probably
not for kids. We don't want you. That's why they were taken to Congress and book burnings. And wow, if it wasn't for kids, then wow, did they trip up and make a mistake, a misnomer?
And they started the comic code, which was a mess.
Right, gone now.
They killed it pretty much.
Oh yeah,
she killed EC.
Yep, code's long gone, but yeah, it was designed to knock out the more adult publishing comic book companies. Lev Gleason and EC were literally raging at this point, doing horror crime comics, making all sorts of money.
Isn't it funny how they were, when they were doing all the horror titles and the crime titles, how very successful they were, and then somebody came along and said it's not good for people, but it was what people wanted, because everybody was running out killing everybody, weren't they?
Well, and now
I always say, how many violent videos did Genghis Khan watch before he went and destroyed the world?
Yeah. Well, now you've got all of the true crime channels on cable, and all these. Every time somebody does a true crime movie, it's very successful.
Yeah,
it's the same thing here with like Crime Does Not Pay and Crime and Punishment comics.
Yeah,
shock suspense stories, crime suspense stories. Yeah.
Actors generally say they like to play the bad guy, don't they?
Yeah.
Because there's always more meat with the bad guy, so. It must be in us.
Says, I feel the artist may have reduced the words with pics, but not if they lettered first. Yeah, they did. Like you said, they were stuck with how it is. Yeah. Yep. Well, like I said, there's that one Krigstein story, and we'll look at that here soon. That's off of the, after they got done doing these comics, EC tried a series of what they called new trend comics. And one of those was Impact, stories with an impact. And that's where the Krigstein story is that he stretched out. So I feel the artist may have reduced the words with pics. Yep. And then it says, it's amazing how they could put so much writing and such great artwork together. That's what makes these books the classics that they are. just fitting it all together is amazing. Yep, absolutely. And it also shows part of the genius of Kurtzman to write and lay this stuff out for folks.
Yeah. Certainly a challenge for the artist, only having what 2/3 of the most panels to work in.
Yeah. You see a lot of cut off heads.
Yeah. But it still works.
Is that Jonathan Harris from Lost in Space there? No?
I don't know.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah. The nutcase.
He's kind of got that look.
Yeah. Before he had it.
Yeah. Dueling. Look at that panel. Holy crap. Boom. That's well over halfway. Severin sitting there going, what am I going to do with that? I think they're incredibly lucky he didn't end up with two silhouetted figures right there.
Yeah, if you look at it the other way, from a positive point of view, he didn't have to draw that much, did he? So it was quicker for him.
Yeah. Yep. Might have done that panel first.
Looks like Danny Kaye in that one panel on page 1.
Here, right there.
Yep.
With that guy, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Says Rad says a little bit Gene Wilder look in his face there. Yeah. I can see that. It's Mau Mau.
Oh, he's Mau Mau.
This is Krigstein. It's feathering work here. It's at Fantagraphics, I think, did a examination book on Krigstein's work.
What are those two? Sorry, go on. Sorry.
He worked in comics for quite a while and got to be known for his sense of layout. Right. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, what are those two round things there? What are they supposed to be? Where his signature is? What are those? The rocks or what's going on?
They might be the drums.
Oh, right. Oh, I know what they are. The shields, aren't they? The shields.
Oh, shields, yeah. Yeah,
the guy's shield.
Yeah. They kind of look like somebody's behind, though, doesn't it?
They're looking at it as well. Think, what the hell is that?
Bent over.
Is that the guy's twin looking at them? It looks it's the same guy, isn't it?
Here? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the same
they're the tribe of clones.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yep.
The Xerox tribe.
Yeah.
Be a great name for an alien species on a space opera parody.
Blam, pow, blam.
Kind of a stylized, cartoony look here.
Yeah, the guy with the pipe. The guy with the pipe looks like a cross between. Oh, it looks like Errol Flynn playing Nick Fury.
Yeah. Well, he's got to be the intelligent one because he's got the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was that intelligent. He went somewhere and lost his eye.
he's the hardcore adventurer because he's got the patch. Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Probably scratched out by a cat.
The early 60s cartoon by Alex Toth, Space Angel. He had a patch.
Right.
Oh, I've shown you Space Angel in the past. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to watch it when I was a kid, very young.
I'm hoping we're going to see those on that Me TV Tune channel. That'd be nice for them to play those, just to throw the kids off. Hey kids, look at this. Those are the ones that had the mouth superimposed over it.
Yeah.
We've watched those before on Sunday Funnies.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't animate the mouth. That wasn't the only one that they did like that.
No, they did Clutch Cargo, and there's another one.
Yeah, Clutch Cargo
that they did. Yeah. There's Space Angel.
Yeah.
Whose communicating device is right over his mouth, so they didn't have to superimpose anything sideways. So
yeah,
it's got a patch over his eye. Great space opera stuff.
Bit Wally Wood suit and machinery, isn't it? A chair.
Yeah. Yep. Very influenced. Yep. One of Toth's first animation assignments. Yeah. Sunday Funnies archives, folks, if you want to see some of those. I'm pretty sure those are still posted up there. The only ones that aren't of the old animation shows that we used to watch is the episodes that have Mighty Heroes in them, because we got copyright struck for that from whoever owns the property.
What a surprise.
Can't show Baby Man or Cuckoo Man without their permission, I guess. Up the nose.
Do you remember Secret Six?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's to Pat Freeling. That's one of those shows where if you were to play the opening, the song would be an earworm in your head for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, I played it the other day on my show. I got all of them. Yeah.
There were a lot of openings back during that time on those cartoon shows that were earworms, banana splits, and Here Comes the Gump. It's my favorite.
You remember Mighty Hercules?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Mighty Hercules. I just bought a gold key Mighty Hercules from the 60s, number 2.
A little blue tunic with a belt with a stylized H on it so that you know it was Hercules. Yeah. With a English letter H
Hercules
on it.
ring.
Yeah.
Had his ring.
Remember Sinbad?
Would give him more power.
Remember Sinbad and his magic belt? Yeah.
A couple
I still remember
that Dale came out with, and they did one in 1965, and then a couple years later in 1967. They skipped a year in between issue 1 and 2.
Yeah. Probably waited to get the sales back. I guess we can do another one of those.
Yep. About 8 months.
And they might have done it and had it sitting in. Yeah, they might have had it done and sitting in the drawer somewhere and just had an open slot on their schedule. Put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some more Great Kriegstein here.
You say these weren't written for kids, but certainly kids read them.
Well, they were comics, you know. That was the big misunderstanding that spawned the Comic Code Authority. These guys were writing very adult stories with a very adult content in it, and the parents were freaking when they sat down and read what their kids were reading.
I think it's great the way these guys are talking, very, stereotypical, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
Of its time.
When Mau asks for the head of a foreigner, and I bring it not, by the oath I die. When Mau says, drive the foreigner into the sea, and I drive him not, by the oath I die. Which, Inga, you are wrong about many things, Mr. Quinton. The white man has much to learn from Africa and its people.
Are those things that armored cars?
Art Victim in the house. Good to see you, Art. Good morning. Cars, yeah. Maybe
armored cars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like tanks. Hammer Glitch says I was referring to the shields looking like balls. LOL.
Yeah, we got that.
Hammer Glitch said balls earlier. Yes. Oh, after Kriegstein. One more page of that. Look at those. Oh no, we switched stories. Look at this monkey.
Yeah.
Gorillas, great. The Great Wally Wood.
Look at that elephant. How good is that?
Is that Ackley? Carl Ackley? Is that how you pronounce that? I imagine that is.
I don't know.
When I can't read something like that, I just kind of gloss over it and go, okay.
Yeah.
Man, the animal work on this is great. The gorillas, the lions, the rhino, the elephant, they're all nice.
Yeah. A little bit of zip screen there just to pop out the gray. A little bit here with a beautiful tone work up there. This is especially nice, almost photographic here.
Yeah.
Wally Wood at his best here.
Tarzan had some great, Dale Publishing Tarzan back in the 50s had some great covers and stuff of animals.
Oh, yeah. Best Tarzan though is Russ Manning. Outside of Kubert. Kubert's was great too, but Russ Manning's was amazing. Did it for decades. Broke in a lot of really good apprentices.
Yeah, he was an artist.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mainly know him from Magnus Robot Fighter.
Yeah, but his real claim to fame was his Tarzan work. He did the Tarzan comic strip for quite a while, and then did Tarzan in comic form for the European market for another couple decades afterwards. It's some really great graphic albums.
Because Bert Hogarth and Joe Kubert and John Buscema, all worked on Tarzan. There's been so many great artists work on Tarzan.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Manning's though, we'll have to look closer at those. I've got the reprint set.
Yeah, I like Manning's work. He's in some ways pretty close to Wally Wood. In some ways, different, but
it's got a very crisp style. You can see
style somewhat.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You can see where
man, look at that elephant, just the energy, the energy behind the elephant, and the movement and the different panels.
Yeah. Bone in the house. Good to see you, Bone. Says good morning, Rex.
Hey, Bone.
Glad you're here. Joining us this morning as we finish off Two-Fisted Tales. This is the last issue of Two-Fisted Tales.
Wrap it up. I'll take it.
Pretty much.
He's doing his one of his 22 ways of silhouette, talking to the other guy with the shorts on. You know what I mean? Like he's not got time, so he's just blocked it in.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Glenn, do you think, and Randy, do you think that comics like this, I think as long as you make it exciting, they would go over, but there was an air of mystery, in the earliest part of the 20th century up into the mid 20th century or beyond, with deepest, darkest Africa and unexplored areas, and now Google and everything else. I mean, we've explored a lot of it. The most.
You're breaking up, Rex.
We've taken the mystery out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I'm sorry.
No problem. I kind of followed what you were saying. Great facing.
Yeah, I was just saying, in the 20th century, there was a little bit of mystery left in the world. Deepest, darkest Africa, unexplored. That's kind of how they sold Tarzan, you know, and most people didn't go 20 miles from their house from where they were born, you know.
Couldn't.
Yeah, and that's why you get those
to,
stereotypes, isn't it?
That's why you get what,
yeah,
Glenn?
I guess so.
Stereotypes.
Oh yeah. Yep, absolutely. Hammer glitch.
Who's the artist on this, Randy?
Love
Wally
that
Wood.
handout of how to lay out panels. Yeah. Yeah, this is Wally Wood.
Okay. Wow, it doesn't really scream wood to me.
We've got some more Wally Wood coming next week. We'll start a nice little collection of Wally Wood, his science fiction material from the 1950s.
I'll have to show you my Wally Wood cover.
Yeah.
Original.
You got an original? Really? Good for you. That's awesome.
We could do a story, Glenn, on that cover alone, believe me.
Well, you need to send me stuff. I can't do anything without your input.
Gotcha.
Sorry to be so pessimistic as you keep calling me, but I can't do anything without your information.
Right. Here. A little bit of zipatone back here on the clouds. Beautiful. Ink work here. Hyena. Cheetah here. Nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Does this look like Wally Wood to you, Glenn?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. He's not quite got the style that we know, but I can see it in it. Yeah, I can see it in the legs and things like that.
It's very tight, tight in the inking as well.
Yeah,
what did he do? His inking?
Yeah.
Who did the inking?
Yeah, he did.
All of these guys worked on their own stuff, except for a little bit of collaboration at the start of Two Fisted Tales with Elder and Severin. Bill Elder, John Severin. But other than that, they sent these pages to the artist. The artist sent it back completed.
With dialogue already lettered on there.
Yeah. Yeah, they sent the lettered pages to the artist.
Wow.
And they sent back the completed comic pages, done, inked and screened and everything.
That's amazing.
working around the lettering. You see here, this isn't exactly ruled. Here, it's pretty rustic around some of them boxes.
Rad Art and Comics says the backgrounds look like Wally.
Yeah, they do. Oh, that's it for that story. Where we turn. Nice light and shade here. The lighter background. Just a great page. Right there.
So he dies from malaria, does he?
Looks like it. Dr. Elliott pumped antiseptic and into the tooth wounds of the cheetah that he got attacked with. When one hole came out the other, needless to say, Akeley recovered. Carl Ackley started with a canary and eventually mounted a whole group of elephants. We went from a farm in New York to his final resting place in the slope of beautiful Mount Nakino in Africa, a tomb of solid volcanic rock. The simple inscription reads, Carl Ackley, November 17th, 1926, or Ackley, I should say. Ackley never lived to see his dream, the African wall, become a reality. But as many friends and colleagues have made the African wall of the Museum of Natural History in New York City, its living memorial. 2 million people visit it each year. Ackley, the man who fought a leopard barehanded and lived after being mauled by a maddened elephant, lost his life to a mosquito, a Anopheles mosquito, a malaria-carrying mosquito. Yeah. There you are. On to the next story. Yellow. Again, a biplane story by the great George Evans.
Look at that.
Yeah, I love George's just simplicity of stuff, plain.
Yeah. Omer Glitch says, didn't EC eventually use a mechanical process for lettering to move away from hand lettering? They used it for a very short period of time, maybe a year and a half or so, and then they switched back. This is all hand lettered here. It's very obvious. I think they got away from it because it looked too mechanical. Yeah. Go ahead, Rex. Sorry.
I was just saying this looks hand lettered. Yeah. This one.
Yep. This is towards the end of their run.
Yeah, you tell an artist, I need a couple biplanes or, about a half dozen biplanes. They're like, oh, crap,
Yeah.
It's amazing what some of these artists depicted.
Yeah, there's no Comic Code Authority stamp on this. So, yeah. This is barely before the code got enacted or an issue that they didn't pass under the Code Authority. Might be why they ended Two-Fisted Tales. One of the reasons. Nice break of the panel wall here. More great aerial shots.
That guy there in the center panel with the mustache looks like Magnum PI's boss or whatever he was.
Yeah. The Giles, something like that.
Yeah. It was his. I don't know what he was, but it looks like him anyway.
Yeah, it does. Got that look.
Nice rendering of the background as well to give the height in the center panel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see the high up in the air.
Yeah, love that. That's Ransom, our tail man, shooting it's the signal. Jerry's. Dogfight.
It just shows you where we are, doesn't it, as a human race, in the way that only 11 years after the Wright brothers flew, we're fighting each other in the sky using aircraft.
Yeah. So Ben says, I have Ben Compton. So I have a John Buscema original art Tarzan page. Yeah. What would it be worth? All depends on what's on it, Ben. And it's only
it wouldn't be worth anything. Just send it to me.
There you are. Yep. Glenn says it's worth nothing. You might as well send it to him. That's all just 3D model tracing. LOL. Just kidding. Yeah. Go ahead. What did you say, Rex? You broke up. Sorry. Say again.
Sorry about that. I just said it's worth what. Maybe I need to talk slower.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're already on a delay.
Yeah, I think so.
That page is worth as much as you can get the next guy to pay for it, and I wouldn't let it go for for a small sum. That's for sure. All that original art from that period is just jumping at the moment. Ever since the bug hit, that the original art like that has just gone through the roof.
Yeah, it depends on how old it is too. I mean, all that stuff was not saved up till the early 80s, about 1982. People started saving a lot of that stuff. It was straight destroyed, burnt, Yeah,
you're breaking up again, Rex. Someday you'll get better equipment. Maybe a better internet.
Yeah, someday.
think we have one more story after this. More great stuff, though. No background here, no background needed.
I know this is pre-Sean Connery, but that one character looks like Sean Connery to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heavy eyebrows.
Yeah, and Omer Glitch, it probably was done with a 3D model. He probably had a couple of model biplanes that he was constantly looking at it in his studio, working off of that. But no
You
tracing.
know what impresses me about a lot of this work is the artist knew lighting, shadow and lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the struts. They don't connect very well connected on the front page.
And you really need to fix your microphone.
But
Rex.
he does it. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
The struts where he just indicates the struts.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice work. That's great too.
Brilliant.
Just cut the plane out of the
and
panel
the tire.
Here. Yeah.
Less
TV and photo
sometimes.
TV and photo references, probably photo references. This is right as TV was coming in. I don't think everybody had a TV at this point. More than likely photo references or actual airplane models that he was looking at. Go ahead, Rex.
20 years before some people had a television.
Yeah. That really looks like Sean Connery there. This panel here to me is really Evans. That's his style all over. Nice little thin lines here in the background, just beautifully rendered plain. Just really nice.
But spoiled by the panel border, the thickness of the panel border.
Well, they erased it with where the clouds were. That was kind of hot.
Yeah, but it's just too thick.
It is.
The line is too thick.
Yep.
On the mall.
It's distracting.
It is.
But the artwork's great. I wish I could turn my neck like it's doing in that middle panel.
Here? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like his head spinning.
That's true. Comic book logic.
Yeah.
He's got to see what's behind him, so go Exorcist on him.
It's magazines and morgue files. Yeah, the morgue files. Folks, you see artists back then with an entire wall of file cabinets of photo reference. Yeah, definitely Connery. Yeah. A lot like him. Oh, I guess this is it.
He says there to that guy,
yeah.
He says to him at the last panel, he says, what was it? He said, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about myself.
Yeah. You? Yeah.
Yesterday was the anniversary of
worst movie ever made.
Zadok or Zardoz?
Zardoz.
Yeah. Clever idea, really embarrassing execution.
Yeah.
John Connery in a wrestling onesie with a gun and hip boots. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible, isn't it?
Well, somebody must have liked it.
I like period pieces like this, historical stuff.
Yeah. Couple of ads, Weird Science, Tales from the Crypt.
And these ads would have been in the original comics, wouldn't they?
Yeah, in the comic. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cochrane's ad for the complete EC library. At the end, West Plains address. Collect them all, kids. You see this stuff at conventions. You'll be if you can find it for $250 and under, they're worth it. Definitely worth it.
So we're on Wally Wood Science Fiction next week.
Yes.
Excellent. I'll wait for that one.
Wally Wood Science Fiction. In fact, there's the cover for the Two-Fisted Annual reprint.
Wow.
Reprint 25 center.
That's
more exciting. 128 true to life pages. Yeah, that's Kurtzman.
Wow.
Next week, folks, we're looking at this one. Wally Wood, Strange Worlds of Science Fiction.
Look at that.
Wally Wood at the height of his abilities, drawing the stuff that we all love. Great planets, great machinery, fantastic women, great monsters. Just nothing but fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great book.
It's a great book. Nice thick one. Will probably take more than one episode to go through, but it's worth it. So
I wonder how long it took him to draw that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a Jack Kirby layout, really.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see where Steranko got his machinery from, can't you?
Yeah. Drawn and flopped. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Nothing wrong with that. Make that job easy. Work easier, not harder.
Yeah. Nope. Wally Wood, Strange Worlds of Science Fiction, folks.
Smarter,
starting next week.
Harder.
That's right. So that's Wood's basic idea, especially when it comes to hitting deadlines. That's next week. Folks, we've been going through Two-Fisted Tales. This is our 11th episode covering this title.
Wow.
Great stuff. Great stuff. More great EC stuff to come. We'll take a little break from EC for a few months, though, before we get back into it.
Well, don't threaten me with a good time.
There you are.
No.
Little Wally Wood, little Mobius on the way.
Right.
We'll see what else we can conjure up. And when we run out of that, sooner or later, we'll do that book 3 of Halo Jones, too.
Yeah. The best one.
Got to do that. Yeah.
Have you read it yet?
No. We'll do it soon. I keep getting other books and other stuff to do. So
I read some Halo Jones in the 80s.
I just picked up that last weekend, Kill All Monsters. How much fun that is.
That's killer. Oh, wow. Look at the format of that one. Very cool.
Yeah. It's like half comic pages. That was done by Dark Horse way back when. I think it's 2007. Great stuff, though. Fun.
Kill All Monsters.
Hey, Shadowhawk.
Kill All Monsters. Yep.
Omar wants to know, can we catch a movie and the dinner first?
Absolutely. This is Morning Shadowhawk Talks. Good morning, Shadowhawk, wherever you are. Oh, there you are up there. Yep. Sorry to miss you. Hail all. Have a great day. You too, Shadowhawk. Nice to see you there. Anyway, folks, real happy that you were here. We are archived.
Connery.
Sean Connery, what? We are archived over at the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel, the Randy Zim YouTube channel, and the Indie Comics Network YouTube channel. The Indie Comics Network YouTube channel has all of our previous shows, or at least all of them that YouTube will continue to allow us to leave up there. I think all of the Comics by Nights are up there. And we've covered a large variety of sequential art. So go over there and take a look when you can and enjoy. So appreciate you being here today. Levi says, thank you for another great showcase of art and insights. Great show. Thank you, Levi, very much. Thanks for the kind words. We appreciate any kind of interaction, any notes on our archived videos. If you're over at the Indie Comics Network, they also take stars. You can pay them or tip them. And all the money from that goes to keeping the Indie Comics Network running. And it's not cheap, folks. They have a lot, not a lot, but they have a bit of overhead expenses every year that they need to cover. So if you can, give them some stars, leave us a note. Let us know if there's something out there you want us to cover. We'll be happy to consider it. So we just love this stuff. We show this stuff off because we love it. We love comics and sequential art, especially the old masters like this that do fantastic work, hard research. I'm very proud of their work. So Rex, tell folks where they can find you. If you can.
Find me daily on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook under Rex Christian, on where else? Instagram. That's about it. Devil Flyer on Fund My Comic right now. Devil's Weapon, 48 pages. We're about a few dollars away from stretch go. Then we'll put another one up. One last stretch go up. Get that book out to people here pretty soon.
Yeah. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
You can get me on the usual places. If you put my name in Google, something will come up. You can get me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Fund My Comic. You can find all my work on Amazon, or most of my work on Amazon. 12 books there, varying subjects and comics and things. Just put my name in Google and you'll something will happen.
You're bound to find it. Glenn with 2 N's and 1 M.
That's right. Yeah.
Glenn Fleming. Yeah. And folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find my work over at aerocomics.store, where you can find such works as Herobot Zero, which is a 3-foot-tall giant robot that I created that fights large menaces and defends a city from evil, as long as he can do it on the clock and get time and a half for overtime. Also up there by now, hopefully, is The Fool. Also available for purchase. Anything over at the store is on hand and ready to be put in the mail immediately. Calico Shard, which is a great fantasy story that I wrote with artwork by C. Michael Lanning. There are 2 issues of Herobot Zero available. And while you're over there, take a look at such books as Chrome Dog by Luke Stone and Justin Craig White, Soul Tack.
His artwork,
Luke Stone's artwork, Justin Sweet's writing. Soul Tack by Craig White is over there as well. So go over there and take a look. Paragon as well, which is a superhero title that I'm particularly proud of, kind of my version of Superman, the great twist ending at it on the end. So go over there and take a look. And again, folks, we show this off every Friday morning at 5 a.m. We do Comics by Night. We're really glad that you're here. We're glad that you're here live. And we know the majority of our viewership is after the fact, after we've already recorded, and we appreciate you as well. Make sure you leave a like and a love Where on whatever platform that you can, make sure you leave us a note too if there's something that you want us to take a look at. Like I said, we'll definitely consider it. Buy alternative and independent comics, folks, especially ours. For me, the Shadow Kingdom campaign has closed, and we're working on the next installment. We're going to continue the characters in original stories called The Atlantean, and you'll see that soon. Red Dragon Publishing has got a Portuguese version of the Shadow Kingdom that they'll be promoting and publishing out of Brazil. Really proud and happy for that as well. Glenn's got Hatch annotated over at fundmycomic.com. Devil Flyer. Rex has got Devil Flyer over at fundmycomic.com as well. And while you're there, check out the other great products that are offered for your backing and enjoyment over at fundmycomics.com. It's a crowdfunding platform made especially for us comic creators. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about competing against whatever electronic device or who knows what all, or worry about being shadow banned or mistreated or just denied. I can't believe that you have to construct a campaign for one of these platforms and then you have to worry about being approved. Just drives me crazy. But as long as you fit the basic,
how dare you?
Exactly. The basic rules of public decency, you're welcome over at Fund My Comic, no matter what your comic is. So just, don't put anything up there that a family can't view out in the open. Your book can be adult, but your campaign has to fit those basic standards. Just so we don't get into any trouble, folks, we love Fund My Comic. Later, gents, from Omer Glitch. Glad you were here, Omer. Thanks again for being here. Buy alternative and independent comics, especially ours. Take a little bit of time and go visit your retailer. Say hello. Take a look at his back issues. Take a look at those back issue boxes, especially the magazines, the treasuries, those comics that haven't quite been looked through lately. You'd be surprised at the gold and the treasures that you can find in fantastic sequential art there, and help that retailer out at the same time. Help him pay his light bill.
Heck yeah.
Because Lord knows Marvel and DC ain't doing it right now. So go out there and help them do that. Any last words from anybody?
I wouldn't want to have a comic shop ever again unless I had a good back issue. Stop.
The retailers out there, yep, the retailers out there that have the extensive back issue on display are the ones that are really solid in business. Everybody else is leaning on table games or role-playing games or Funko Pops or whatever they can, and that's all real fleeting. So, folks, support your local retailer. They deserve it. What's that, Gary? Gary's got something to say here.
So this is the divine intervention. You could become a spiritual guru on your own, but you just have to tie your shoes, and you just have to know how to eat burritos backwards.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We're here next Friday, Wallywood next Friday. We also do a Sunday show, 9 a.m., Sunday Funnies. And this Sunday, what are we looking at? This Sunday, we're looking at an issue of Alter Ego, which is a comic fanzine.
Right. Good stuff.
The particular issue of Alter Ego is a tribute to the great Alex Toth. It has a lot of great artwork in it, a lot of great testimonials, and it shows a lot of love for a great artist. Kind of a curmudgeon, but a great artist. Anyway.
Russ, we miss you.
Missed you, Russ. Hope you're doing well. He'll be back on Sunday. At least he said he would.
He'll be back. Yeah. No need to threaten me.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, we'll see you soon. See you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Deeply appreciate you being here. Have a great weekend. Taste the biscuit.
See you in a bit.
Joke's on you, bitch. I love this shit.
Absolutely. See you soon, everyone.
See ya.
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
And I just want to say, when my time comes, I want to be buried face down, so that anyone who doesn't like me can kiss my ass.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.